The protest was meant to be a wall of sound, a fortress of our anger. But the only thing that shattered was our own resolve, and it started with a single, silent cup of tea. Our neighborhood, once a tapestry of shared histories, had become a canvas for division. A line, invisible but indelible, had been drawn down Elm Street. On our side, the Muslim community, proud and fearful. On the other, newer residents who saw our mosque, our dress, our very presence as a threat. The flashpoint was a proposed community center, a place for youth and elders, mischaracterized as a megamosque that would destroy the neighborhood's character. So, we gathered. We would meet their planned protest with one of our own. We would be a unified, angry wall. I, Layla, was at the forefront, my heart a drum of righteous fury. My brother, Samir, stood beside me, but his calm was a stark contrast to my storm. "Remember, Layla," he said softly as we marched toward the dividing line, holding our placards high. "The Prophet, peace be upon him, never met badness with badness. He met it with something better." "I'm not turning the other cheek, Samir," I snapped, my grip tightening on the sign that read "NOTO hate." "That's a privilege we don't have. They need to see we won't be pushed around." The two groups converged, a chaotic sea of shouted slogans and angry faces. Across from me was a man named Frank, his face a permanent scowl, his sign reading, "Protect our community." Our eyes met, and it was like two flints striking, nothing but sparks of pure, undiluted animosity. We screamed. They screamed. The noise was a physical force, but it built nothing. It was a wall that stopped all communication, all thought. I shouted about tolerance. He shouted about invasion. We were not speaking to each other, but past each other, our words bouncing off the hardened shells of our preconceptions. After an hour, my voice was hoarse, my throat raw. The protest began to dissipate, the energy spent. We had built our wall, and it had succeeded only in making us prisoners on our own side of the street. As I turned to leave, exhausted and defeated, Samir nudged me. He was looking at Frank, who was packing up his protest materials alone, looking just as tired and just as hollow as I felt. "Now," Samir whispered. "Now what?" I grumbled. "Now we give a better greeting." Before I could stop him, Samir walked across the street. My heart leaped into my throat. This was a betrayal. This was weakness. I watched, frozen, as Samir approached Frank. The man looked up, his posture instantly defensive, his scowl deepening. But Samir didn't raise his hands. He didn't speak. He simply pointed to a thermos Frank had just dropped, its lid coming loose and steaming tea spilling onto the sidewalk. Then, Samir bent down, righted the thermos, and with a calm I found infuriating, said, "That's a shame. A good cup of tea is a small mercy on a cold day." Frank was stunned into silence. He just stared. Samir continued, his voice peaceful, devoid of any condescension. "My sister and I were just about to get some at the cafe. Would you like to join us? Our treat. No signs, no slogans. Just tea."